What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to go over some info we got for a lot of the games that were shown at the PlayStation Showcase. I thought this would be fun, a little educational, right? A little informative, because we got quite a bit specifically towards the end with not a lot given besides just the visual trailers, right? And a lot of that stuff kind of came after the fact, so I want to try and recap it to you guys right now. Some of it's going to be based off memory, some of which are going to be kind of bullet points on Twitter, so keep, I guess bear with me right throughout the whole thing. Some things, some kind of quick hit things. One thing I found interesting about the game Forspoken, I'm actually really into that game. I think it looked awesome. Amy Hennig, writer of Uncharted, creator of Uncharted, as well as Gary Whitta, who actually made Star Wars Rogue One. They are two, I believe, of the 3 or 4 different people that are writing that game. And you do kind of get a sense when you're watching the game that it is more of like a light-hearty, but still going to be kind of, I guess emotional in a sense, right? I kind of get that sense, and having those two writers there makes me I'm going to support Amy Hennig no matter where she goes, again, because of the work on Uncharted. Another interesting thing, GTA, that was shown, and I don't know if you guys care. I would personally say I didn't care, but I guess what was most interesting is it was delayed without really anybody even saying anything or knowing anything. It is now coming out March 2022, so it had an actual date. It was November 15th, I believe, was the official date, 2021, and it got pushed several months. So that's interesting. Again, it depends on if you guys care, and I'm not here, to judge one way or the other, but the game was obviously pushed. Gran Turismo 7, I'm not going to go into the details, but I do want to go also into the release date for that because they showed a pretty long thing that showed, customization and driving, itself and all that stuff, but they didn't say anything about a release. And then literally it was one of the most informal things right after the show ended. They said like, yeah, coming out March 2022. And it's like, oh, you didn't say that during the show. So obviously that's happening. So that's good. I said this in the live stream that I did, co-streaming it. Like it or hate, what Sony's been doing so far, you can see kind of the plan, right? You got like Sifu, Stray, Horizon, stuff like that. Or even Forspoken, maybe. That's in the first 3, 4, 5 months of the year, and now you have Gran Turismo. So the first half, I would say, of next year for PlayStation is actually filled. It's not really certain because a lot of games don't have official dates. It's more like windows, but you can kind of see where things are coming from. Then we move into I would say the big guns, right? Wolverine. So Wolverine is from Insomniac, but it's from the team that made Miles. Now, I'm still confused as to, I believe they need to now have 3 teams. Like, I don't know if that's been officially said, but you have the Spider-Man team, who's now on, Spider-Man 2. You have the Miles team, who's now on Wolverine. And then you have the team that just made Ratchet and Clank, which they could be going to Sunset Overdrive or Resistance or a brand new IP or, whatever. But, I like them saying that because it kind of provides clarity as to how the heck Insomniac actually works in a good way. I mean, Insomniac obviously killed it. It was pretty much the Insomniac show and then like third-party games, right? Absolutely incredible. So I'm happy about that. They did say, and they did make a note that the game is in early development. So again, I said in the live stream that I think like 2024, 2025, I feel like that's going to happen, especially with Spider-Man 2 being 2023. They probably just started Wolverine the last full year. So this is a game that's easily, I would say, 2 years at minimum still left, right? So like the end of 2023, if not, throughout 2024. Back to third parties, just because I forgot it and I don't want to kind of leave it out. The Knights of the Old Republic remake, again, when it happened, I was like, did Sony buy them, or is there some sort of deal? Because the way they have the icons was like the partnership kind of stuff that they've done with like Haven and stuff like that. Well, kind of, there is definitely a partnership. Basically, it's a PS5 console exclusive at launch, but as well as PC. So it comes out on PS5 and PC basically day one, and then it'll come to other consoles afterwards. Like or hate the console exclusivity, one thing I would like to, and also, I guess, Aspire has never done this before, ever. Like, they brought in the cavalry in terms of workers to make this game because they normally don't do anything near close to the scale of this game. So I'm not, I love Knights of the Old Republic, but I don't even know if this game will turn out to be great just because of the sheer size and scope, but that it's also on PS5. This is not PS4, PS5. It's only on PS5. You guys may or may not know. I personally kind of like that. That's definitely going to offend some people, and I'm fully aware of what I'm going to say, and that's that. So moving on from that, obviously we had Spider-Man 2, Dear Jesus Christ, right? I would say, I guess, the biggest things that came from this one is that it's a single player game, and that's important, right? Because it's very clear you're going to be playing, and we've heard rumors before of playing as Miles and as Peter, but obviously the trailer was pretty much fully focused on both of them fighting. In fact, even both of them using some sort of like tag team combo. So obviously you're going to be playing as both, swapping. You may be playing like as one and the other one is with you at sometimes, right? So we know that that's going to be happening, but it is a single player game, and we know Venom, right? So that was very, very cool. It seems like it's just going to be kind of bigger and better in every way than the original Spider-Man game, but besides like actual nitty-gritty details, they really didn't give much of that. But obviously 2023, so that's another one that I had been saying that for a while. I had hoped for 2022, but if you go back and watch my videos, even dating back to last year in 2020, I was making videos saying I think 2023 could be possible. So, definitely disappointing depending on how you look at it, but I'm personally fine with it. Give them as much time as they need, and we're going to see a lot more of it in the future. And obviously Insomniac, again, I mean, they literally, not just in this show in terms of they couldn't do better, but really since Sony bought them, Insomniac has been unbeatable. Like, who has really been better than them? What could you possibly have asked them to do more than what they've already done? You know what I mean? It's definitely like the bargain deal of the century, Sony buying them. And then finally, our good old friend God of War Ragnarok. Now, this one is a lot more interesting to me because there's a lot of things that actually went on without being kind of straightforward to your face said, right? Number one is they didn't give a release date. Not even a release date, but not even a release window, which to me is very I'm going to, I'll be flat out honest with that. I still do expect it like November. I've been saying that a while. This game is like the very end of 2022, if not later, if not 2023. In fact, I've said that before as well. And I think we're getting into a situation with like an Alex is right kind of moment, because I would say reading into it, and maybe you don't want to read into it, but the fact is them not saying anything would be looked at, it depends if you look at it as like a positive or negative, but it's more negative in that I don't think they have confidence to say, oh yeah, this game's for sure first half of next year. You know what I mean? Even though the game was supposed to come out, so they say, this year, I don't think they ever once thought that. I think they just lied to us. But, at this point, I would say late next year at the absolute earliest. Again, though, I mean, I'm not rushing them. I don't care. Get the game out when you're ready and just make it a really amazing game. The wording is weird. It sounds like it's the final game of the Norse mythology, but it also, I believe Herman said at some point that it's setting up a finale, which I know I said during the live stream, like, did he just admit that this is, like, for sure a trilogy, a kind of thing? So I don't know the wording. You guys will have to, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that obviously would be a big deal, that this game is definitely going to be, it's going to be, whether it's the second and final game in a trilogy that's not actually a trilogy, or whether it's, the end of what we know this little, two-part tale to be, and then the third part would be wildly different. That's pretty much what we're getting here. We'll make videos and we'll talk about it, obviously, as we get closer. I'd imagine that Kratos is not going to make it throughout the entire game. That's just kind of an early prediction I would have. Obviously, Cory Barlog is off the project, which I guess would solidify, if anybody had any doubt, that there's a two-team thing going on in Sony Santa Monica. They've been hiring like crazy for a second game, probably more of like a sci-fi game, right? So clearly, there's two games being worked on at the same time. He is not leading this game, right? They also talked about a little bit more, I read the PlayStation blog for this one, in that like the combat is going to be a lot more up to you. You're going to be able to chain combos with the kind of mixed weapons a lot more than you were able to in the first game. all in all, I mean, it was a really good show. I would say, obviously, there were things that were not shown that I'm sure upset people, and we will talk about that probably tomorrow, first thing in the morning in a video. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I missed out on any kind of small details on any of the games shown. If you guys want to, support us in any way, obviously subscribing is the easiest and the best way. Subscribe, hit the bell icon. I have a Twitter, I have a second channel, we have Patreon and YouTube memberships. All of that stuff is in the description below, okay? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all on the next video.